Howdy howdy, my name is John, and this video is another double tag video. Since I just celebrated my first year on Booktube, I thought I would do a couple of tags that kind of talk about the process of Booktube. The first tag is the tag about tags. This was created by Roz at Scallydandling about the books. I wasn't specifically tagged for this one, at least not as far as I know. But Bethanne did mention me in her version of this tag, so I'll pretend she tagged me for this. Prompt 1. Tag first. Did you do the Booktube Newbie Tag? If not, what was your first tag? Do you choose to watch Newbie Tags? Yes, I did the Booktube Newbie Tag. It was the first video that I uploaded, although I did upload a book haul immediately after that. And yes, mine is just as bad as everybody else's, maybe a little bit worse. For a long time, it was my most viewed video. Fortunately, that's not the case anymore. I will talk about the second half of this question a little bit more in the next tag that I do. Prompt number 2, tag emotions. What feelings do tags provoke in you? Tag joy and delight, tag boredom and resentment, tag guilt or anxiety, even tag envy. I do experience all of those emotions except for boredom and resentment. I really do enjoy watching tag videos. They give you a little bit more perspective on the booktuber's personality. Usually you get to see books that they read before they started their booktube channel. I enjoy it when people tag me. It means that, they've been watching my videos. They actually expect me to do the tag, and that they'll enjoy the video when I do it. And back in December and January, it seemed like everybody and their brother tagged me for a video. And it took me a long time to work that list off. Fortunately, the tags that I have been tagged for that I haven't done have been, fairly recent ones. I do have a little bit of tag envy. I actually put a lot of work into my tag videos. I try to make sure that I have nice graphics. I edit them down to eliminate awkward long pauses. But there are a few people, especially Ian at B&B Books, who can sit down, film a tag video, and upload it, and it actually be entertaining to watch. Because there have been many occasions where I'll do a tag video, and then like 5 hours later, his is already uploaded and ready to be viewed. So I am a little bit envious that some people can make a watchable video in such a short amount of time. But I will be honest, if I don't get tagged in a video, there is a little bit of tag disappointment. But in the last 2 months, it's immediately followed by tag relief that I haven't been tagged and that I'm not getting further behind on doing my tags. I've been doing this long enough now that, not being tagged in a video doesn't really bother me that much anymore. I watch a lot of different booktube channels, and I'm sure that everybody else does as well. Tagging people is a great way to advertise the channels that you are watching, especially the new channels that you have discovered. Prompt number 3, tag favorites. What kind of tags do you like most and least to do and to watch? Honestly, I think I've enjoyed all of the tag videos that I've watched. There's not really a category that I've disliked. As I mentioned, I do like tag videos both to watch and to do that highlight older books that someone read before they started Booktube. And since I have a large category of books that I've read before I started Booktube, I especially like to do those. Tags are a great opportunity for the booktuber's personality to really come through. And those videos that are successful in doing that are probably among my favorites to watch. Prompt 4, tag style. How do you tag? Do you have a system for keeping track of when you are tagged or tags you plan to do? Do you prepare to do tags or just wing it? I do have a spreadsheet that I keep track of who has tagged me. I do note on that spreadsheet when I do the tag and who I've tagged for that video. And I also keep track of who actually does the tag. There's a lot of times where I have gone back to my original video and added the link to the video to people that have done the tag. Fairly early on, after I started my channel, I kind of made a rule for myself that I would wait for someone to tag me before I did a tag. And the reason behind this is because if I haven't done the tag, someone who actually, kind of takes the time to look to see if I've done the tag will notice that I haven't done it. And then that gives them someone to tag when they do the video. Obviously, there are exceptions. For example, I wasn't tagged to do either of these two. The reason I did these two tags is because, again, this is right after my 1-year anniversary, and I thought this would make a good tag to do around that time. There's been a couple of occasions where someone would create a tag, and I thought, just in order to kind of help propagate the tag, that I would go ahead and do it and tag other people in it as well. There have also been a couple of occasions where I didn't really think someone else would tag me for it, and so I just went ahead and did it. Now, I do prepare to do tags. I'll print out the tag questions so that I can read them off. The reason I type out the questions and have them full screen is that I'm not wearing my glasses while I'm doing videos because of the glare, and so I'm holding the paper right up in front of my face in order to see the questions. And I'd rather not have you see that. I also kind of write notes on the paper as to my answer because here again, I can't just sit down, read questions, and answer the questions and have a video that will be both easy to edit and watchable. Just not, it's just not something that I can do. So I do, kind of take the time to think of the answers, write down what I'm going to say, and then when I come to film it, it's a lot easier for me to film, and as I mentioned, a lot easier for me to edit. Prompt 5, tag memories. Of the tags you have watched, done, or created, which have stuck in your memory? Are there any you would like to revisit or revive? First of all, I want to talk about a tag that has a bit of a negative memory to me, and that is my bookshelf book tag video. I made a lot of mistakes on that video, and I don't necessarily want to redo it because it just took a lot of time to make. It is the tag video I'm probably the least proud of. The two that I have the best memories of are the two that I did at my 6-month anniversary and my 1-month anniversary, and I did the Booktube gratitude tag on both of those. I also did the small booktuber tag on my 6-month, and I did the Booktube birthday on my 1-year, which is my most recent video prior to this one. Really enjoyed making both of those. There are not any tag videos that I want to kind of redo in the future, but here again, I may at some point. Prompt 6, and finally tag people, of course. For this set of questions, I'm going to tag the following 5 people: Andrew's Wizardly Reads, Tom L.A. Books, Steve Talks About Books and Stuff, Summer at Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats, and Ian at B&B Books. The first tag I did actually inspired the next tag, and this is the How Do You Booktube tag. This tag was created by Margaret Pinard and Bethanne Bruninga-Socolar. This is the second time that I've tried to film this set of questions. The first time I really struggled, and I needed to take a moment to kind of sit down with the questions and rearrange them, add a couple of new ones. So Margaret and Bethanne, I hope you don't mind that I changed your questions up a little bit. Just I needed to make it work for me. Your original set of questions are brilliant. It's not you, it's me. Normally I hear that from women. I think the questions that I've added are in the spirit of the original video that Margaret and Bethanne did. Question 1, if you haven't already explained in another tag, or you wish to expound upon, What made you start a BookTube channel? For me, this was the combination of several things that were going on in my life at the time. Now, I'm sure this story will make Bethanne happy. Roughly at the end of 2019, I started to read the Dragonlance Chronicles. While I was in the middle of the Chronicles, I mentioned to a friend of mine that I was reading them, and he decided that he would pull out his copy and read them too. And we kind of started to talk about the books. Also about this time, I started to talk about a couple of books with my uncle. First, this was Watership Down, and then later, the Earth Children series by Jean M. Auel. I really enjoyed these conversations that I had. Before, reading was just something I did by myself, and I didn't really talk about it with anybody else. The next was also about this same time. I was starting to come out of the fog of grief after my mom had passed away. While I was taking care of her, I really kind of focused all of my energy on taking care of her. I really needed an outlet to start making new friends. Also, I have a lot of trouble talking about what I'm thinking. The only way to get better at something is to actually do it. The nice thing about creating videos is that, I can say what I want to say, and if I need long pauses, I can edit those pauses out. That makes a video much more watchable than it would be to actually have a real-time conversation with me. One day I was watching a Q&A with Murphy Napier, and someone asked her for advice on starting their own BookTube channel. Murphy mentioned the Booktube Newbie Tag, and I did a search on it. When I did the search on that tag, it really opened me up to the BookTube community, especially the smaller BookTube community. I began to realize that I didn't really need a big channel to get good engagement with the community. At this time, I'd already started to watch Mike's books reviews. Mike had successfully gotten a big audience, so I knew that since he could get an audience, that there was room for someone like me. Before I discovered Mike's channel, really the only channels I was watching were from the kids, Murphy and Daniel's age. When the pandemic started in March of 2020, that's when I really started thinking hard about starting my own channel. In Murphy's May 2020 TBR video, she announced that she was planning on reading A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. This was a book that I had read in college, and I was really wanting to reread it and then read the rest of the books in the series. I decided that that would be a good time to actually start my channel. I'd try to be part of the conversation surrounding the Earthsea series. I was also motivated to join BookTube because nobody really is talking about my favorite author, Piers Anthony. When I joined, I was hoping that I could convince someone who's a little bit more articulate than me to read Anthony, and then hopefully that would encourage other people to read Anthony. Question 2, how many channels are you subscribed to? What percentage of that is BookTube? I'm currently subscribed to 263 channels, 214 of which are BookTube. That's 81%. The other 49 are non-BookTube. I'll show a pie graph of kind of the categories that my other non-BookTube channels kind of fit into. Question 3, how do you decide to subscribe? This has changed over the life of my channel. The first 6 weeks that I was on BookTube, really the only channels I'd subscribed to were the channels that I had watched prior to joining BookTube, or those channels that commented on my Booktube Newbie Tag. I was very reluctant to leave comments on other creators' videos, and I really didn't try to grow my channel because I wanted to give myself some time to actually get better at making videos. However, after about 6 weeks, I got really discouraged at having a subscriber count that was still in the single digits. By then, I had gotten a little bit more comfortable at leaving comments on other videos, and I'd also noticed how important comments were to me. That's when I started about once a week to search for the Booktube Newbie Tag videos, and I would filter that by the most recent videos. While I was doing this, I wasn't watching every single video. I also didn't subscribe to every video that I watched. I was really trying to find a group of booktubers that I could interact with. I was looking for older booktubers. I was also especially interested in the handful of male booktubers that were joining at the time. I also decided to be the type of booktuber that I needed in order to encourage me to continue making videos. Basically, I decided to pick the booktubers that I could interact with, and I would watch their videos until their channels grew to a point that they were getting comments on their videos and got a fairly decent subscriber base, usually around 100 subscribers. If by that point they had not commented on one of my videos, I would unsubscribe from them. At this time, I was trying to keep my subscriber count around 100 because I was trying to keep it manageable with the channels that I could reasonably watch and interact with. I did this from about the middle of July to the middle of November. And by November, I was getting to the point where the newest channels that I had picked up and that weren't necessarily interacting with mine were really kind of off my radar, and I was having trouble going and finding their videos and watching them. That's when I stopped growing my channel by searching the Booktube Newbie Tag. Starting in about September of that year, I started to follow the links of people who had been tagged by someone or who was tagging people in tag videos. The first example of this was when I got tagged for the DNF tag. I was tagged by Flipping Pages, and he had been tagged by Lady Jane Books. I followed the link to Lady Jane's video, and I really enjoyed that video. I started to follow those links and watch those channels. And really, my channel growth really accelerated when I started to do that. Again, I was looking for channels that I could interact with and that I hoped would interact with my content. Generally speaking, I did avoid channels that were larger than 1,000 subscribers because I really didn't expect somebody with that number of subscribers to actually interact with mine. That very quickly took my subscriber count from around 50 to over 100. After my subscriber count got over 100, that's when I actually needed to take a step back from Booktube for a little while. Now, I'm not really trying to grow my channel subscription number. Right now, really the only people I'm subscribing to are those who comment on one of my videos, or those who publicly subscribe to me, or those who are interacting very heavily with other channels that I'm watching, or those that are very highly recommended by someone. Question 4. Do you unsubscribe from inactive channels? If so, how do you decide to unsubscribe? Yes, periodically I do go through my subscription list and I unsubscribe from inactive channels. Generally speaking, if they've been inactive for more than 6 months and I haven't had any real significant interaction with their channel, I will go ahead and unsubscribe. Question 5. When and where do you watch Booktube? I almost always watch Booktube while I'm eating breakfast and supper. It actually kind of feels like I'm chatting with friends while I'm eating. Then if I have time in the evening before I go to bed, I will watch Booktube then too. Most of the time I watch Booktube in this room where I'm at now. This is my office. Sometimes I will watch Booktube in my living room as well. Question 6. Do you watch Booktube at normal speed or speed the videos up? I have recently experimented with speeding up the videos. Some booktubers, I can get away with this fairly easy. However, I have found that for booktubers where English is not their primary language, I do have to watch those at normal speed in order to understand them. Personally, I love that so many booktubers don't speak English as their primary language. It gives me a wonderful opportunity to learn about other cultures. Question 7. How do you respond to comments? Do you always respond right away or on a set schedule? I do always respond to comments. At the very least, I heart those comments. But there's been very few of those that I've only hearted. I try to write at least a thank you to whoever has taken the time to comment on one of my videos. I don't normally respond right away to comments. I do normally watch Booktube on my computer, so I'm really only going to reply to comments when I've actually opened up YouTube on my computer. Question 8. Do you comment on every video you watch? I do not comment on every single video. There are a handful where I don't comment. If I really struggle to find something to connect with in the video, those are the videos that I don't comment on. Now, I do leave a lot of comments like great video or fun video, and I know that can seem a little bit insincere at times, but generally speaking, if I leave a comment like that, I did watch the entire video, and I did enjoy the video. I did have one experience where I did not comment on the video. A few days later, the creator deleted all of the videos and hasn't posted one since. I've always kind of wondered whether or not that if I had left a comment, that would have encouraged the creator to continue to create content. Question 9. Do you read the comments that others have left? If yes, before or after you've left your own? Do you respond to others' comments? Generally speaking, I do read the comments that others have left before I leave my own comments. Sometimes it's to avoid saying something that's already been said, but honestly, I enjoy reading other people's comments. It's very rare that I actually respond to others' comments, though. Question 10. Do you like videos or comments? How do you decide what to like? So I do not like videos. This is mostly because I really just haven't developed a criteria to like videos. I don't know if anyone has noticed this, but I actually don't ask people to like my videos. It doesn't seem fair to me to ask someone to do something that I'm not willing to do. I do appreciate when people like my videos. However, the number of likes my video gets isn't really the standard by which I judge how successful my video was. I'm much more interested in the comments that I receive on a video. And those comments let me know how successful the video actually is. I do like comments. Every time a booktuber responds to one of my comments, I give that comment a like. If I read a comment on another booktuber's video that I really enjoy, I do occasionally give those likes as well. Question 11. What types of videos do you watch? When I first started Booktube, I really enjoyed watching a wide variety of different types of videos. However, as I've started to interact with more and more channels, I've started to limit the types of videos that I watch. My favorite videos are monthly wrap-ups. I try to watch as large of a number of those as I can. I also really enjoy tag videos, and I do try to watch as many tag videos as I can. Question 12. What types of videos do you not watch? So there are several types of videos that I really don't watch very much anymore. Now, I do make exceptions, but generally speaking, I do not watch these types. The first types are vlogs. Typically, vlogs are very long, and they're also videos that I actually have to sit and watch because they do contain a lot of visual elements to them. The second type of videos that I don't generally watch are TBRs. Now, I'm not really interested in the books that someone is planning to read. I'm much more interested in the books that they have actually read. The wrap-up videos I find much more useful on the book recommendations that I want to read. The last type of video that I don't really watch much of anymore are book hauls. Partly this is because I actually don't enjoy filming book hauls. I haven't done one since January. Also, it gets a little bit repetitive for someone to hold up a book and say, I'm excited to read this. Again, when I'm looking for book recommendations, I'm much more interested in hearing what someone has to say about a book they have actually read. Question 13. Do you use the notification bell? If yes, how do you decide which channels? I actually only use the notification bells for channels that I have enjoyed, but for whatever reason have gone inactive. That way, when the creator decides to come back, I will get the notification, and that way I'm not always trying to look at their page to see that they have come back. Question 14. Do you use your homepage feed to decide what to watch, or do you work down your list of channel subscriptions, or some other method? So when I first started my Booktube channel, that's exactly what I would do. And still I do use the YouTube homepage quite frequently to decide what new videos I want to watch immediately. Since I have discovered the watch later function, I am much more likely to put a video into watch later. Shortly before the original video that Margaret and Bethanne did, I discovered the subscriptions feed and really started to rely on it, as well as the watch later. And I do check that page usually a couple of times a day. From there, I decide which videos I want to watch, right away. And these are from the channels that I've had the most interaction with. And then I will put videos that I want to watch later. As I've worked off the videos that I want to watch immediately, then I'll go to my watch later page and I'll watch those videos. Question 15. Do you keep up with content as it comes out, or do you catch up on older content? How do you filter through old content, if so? See Berna's video with a link in the description below. So as I mentioned, with the channels that I interact the most frequently with, I do tend to watch those videos right away. And then generally speaking, toward the end of the month, I will go through my watch later list and I will delete videos where I reasonably don't think I will ever get around to watching. There are a few videos that are rather long, and so I want to make sure that I have time to watch those videos. And then there are videos for books that I haven't read yet, but I want to watch the video after I've read the book. Question 16. Are your subscriptions public? Why or why not? So at one point, I decided to make my subscriptions public. One of the reasons why is I do enjoy it when I see in my notifications that a new channel has subscribed to me. As long as that channel is creating content, I will go ahead and subscribe to them as well. Now, there have been a couple of occasions where I've gotten burned where someone will subscribe to me and then later unsubscribe. But you do have to be careful because there also have been times where that creator will make their subscriptions private. After a while, I started to interact with enough channels where my previous limit of about 100 channels to be subscribed to really had gotten to be unmanageable. And that was the point where I decided to go ahead and make my subscriptions public. As I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of non-Booktube channels that I'm subscribed to. And if it actually matters to you what kind of channels I'm subscribed to, anyone can go and look at them and make a decision on whether or not they want to subscribe to my channel. Before I made my subscriptions public, I did go and purge a lot of accounts that I did not want to be subscribed to anymore. Because now that my subscriptions are public, really I don't want to unsubscribe to someone if I have subscribed to them publicly, because it's really kind of dishonest to me to subscribe to someone and then later unsubscribe. It feels like I subscribed and potentially gotten a subscription under false pretenses. So now I really only try to unsubscribe to someone once they've been inactive for more than 6 months. Question 17, tag some folks. To anyone that I do tag on this, if you want to use Margaret and Bethanne's original questions, by all means go ahead. If you would like to use my expanded set of questions, I am perfectly okay with that. Jolene from Bookworm Adventure Girl, how do you booktube? Joanna, how do you booktube? Jeremy Fee, how do you and all your clones booktube? Pay from Attention, how do you booktube? And finally, Ian from B&B Books, how do you booktube? Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your